let's start doing some mixing. Got a little too much in here, so we're going to have to work a little faster. It's a little too pink. This stuff can harden while you're mixing. You got to make sure it's mixed thoroughly and get it off, because whatever's on here may not be the same. Crap in there. That's what happens if you end up with a piece of dry stuff. You don't clean this off properly, it ends up getting in, and then you end up with and that's what happens. I'm wondering if, I don't know, let me see. I'm pushing it at this point. Let's see. I just lucked out on that one. You know, it's starting to get rubbery already. I knew I had a little too much in there, but we're all set. We made it. It worked. Alright, this is going to have to sit for a few minutes, so I'm going to turn you off for a second. Alright, what I wanted to do was, while we're waiting for this to do its thing, I wanted to clean off the tools. So that does pretty well done. Put them over here. Oh. Oh. Alright, so let's see here. It's time to have one of these plum peaches thingies. Next to the wheels. Great place to put a pair of speakers underneath, so they're going to get shit thrown up in them. Anyhow, I wrote out a diagram, and then I have to, I think that these two wires here, if I remember right, the orange and white, are the two speaker leads. Which means that they're mono, because they're only tied into one here. Now I can also say, if that was the case, why do you have two speakers under there? There's two speakers in the top part over there that I think hooked up to the stereo, so that you can play music and talk back and forth to the kids and put a video, not a video, a CD in there, you know. Coastie has a song, believe it or not. you go to Robotronics, and you'll see it, and they show it moving around and singing and everything else, running over one of the kids. Just goes to show you how good they are, because they make this thing almost impossible for anybody to work on it, and then they do a video on how it does, and then they almost run over a kid with it. So we don't even think of safety. You think they would have thought about that and then redid the video or cut that part out? And the more I think about this company, the more I hate it. I mean, I don't know. They did right by putting this together, but they didn't think it out. It looks like oh, we got it. Bang, boom, bam, it works, it's gone. Not thinking about what do we do when we have a problem. Now, anyhow, back to this. I think these are the speaker leads. If I can get these out enough to, see, I don't want to start taking shit apart again. I haven't had the time for that. Let me see, if I unplug this here, and I get in there, let me see if I can find, a couple of very small jumpers to put on there. I should have a couple laying around. Give me a minute. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm trying to find out how to hook up those units. Now, I don't know if the camera was rolling or not, but here's a quick update on what I just said. Ray came over about 2 months ago. Helped me out for about an hour. He was starting to not feel right, so he said, let me take the little transmitters and receivers with him. And those little pieces are and these two pieces. These are the pieces that work the audio through the headset and through the microphone, so that you can talk to the kids and things. And you can monitor how it sounds and make any adjustments and all that through the headsets. We've got 2 sets of headsets. We have this unit here and this unit. This is a voice modifier, so you can change the voice a little bit. And then we have the 2 over there, made by Nady. This is a Nady. However, none of these were hooked up when I got this. There was no wires hooked up to these whatsoever. The old pieces, they had the hole rusted right through the crystal, and the switch was rusted out and all that. The board was in bad shape. Ray said, let me take all that with me, meaning these 2 pieces and those 2 pieces, and he can check them out while he's at home. You know, he's got a little radio room. He's been around for a long time in electronics. So that's what he did. The crystal was going to cost $20 that had to be replaced because it did have a hole rusted right through it. And there's a video on that someplace. I don't know the date, but there's a video on the Coastie 24 boat or whatever it is. I did a little YouTube page on it. But anyway, he found a new set for 20 bucks. Well, that was like, okay, this is a good deal here, you know. So we got a new piece, new transmitter receiver over there for 20 bucks. It looks identical to the ones that we had. It's on channel B. The other ones were on A or F. I don't remember. However, if they're working as an independent, it doesn't make a difference. Well, there's no way to hook them up. So that's where I'm at. I'm trying to find out, okay, now what? Because the only hookups we have were for these, which weren't hooked up, because I couldn't find any of the plugs, which were in here. However, I was looking underneath all of this, all of it, meaning this whole box, not just the top, but the whole box has to come out. Everything. There's a stereo amplifier. Okay? Now over there we have a stereo, a Sony. There's no faceplate on it. The detached faceplate is detached and missing. However, the remote would still work the CD player. So you can put a CD in there and you can play, you know, Be Happy and all that kind of stuff. I think. I don't even know if that works anymore. However, now I'm looking for those 2 speakers that are under here, because they put 2 speakers underneath from the bottom. And there's two speakers in that piece over there. Why would you put two speakers underneath? Because if you're running this on ground, a little dirt, a little rain, you know, or whatever, those speakers are going to be getting abused. Even if you just let it sit on the ground. You know, this thing's sitting there, you know, and not in its trailer. Anyhow, they did. We got two speakers, but we have one output. So we really didn't even need two speakers. But anyway, I'm trying to check to see if these are the speaker leads. I did a diagram. I did it all on the system. There's a CAD system in there with it on there. But instead of going nuts looking for that, I figured it's easier just to unplug and see if these are the speakers. So that's what I'm doing now. So I got a 9-volt battery here. If you take a 9-volt battery and put it across the two terminals with a little set of jumpers or something, if it's the speaker, it'll pop. Not pop meaning blow it, but it'll pop to let you know that that's either the left speaker or the right speaker, you know, whatever it is. So I have this hooked up. Now I'm going to touch this to that, and we should hear a little pop pop. There. Okay. So that's telling me that, yes, that is the speaker wires. So this plug down here, right here, will go to the speakers. So now I need to check anyway. I got to check because I don't know if those are, I doubt very much if it's the output side of the amplifier. It would be nice if it is, because then all I have to do is find some way of getting to the input side of the amplifier. And again, hopefully trying to do it without lifting this whole thing out. I mean, yeah, and then putting it back together, and I really hate to have to take it all apart again because they want to have sound and be able to talk to the kids, you know, and be able to do all this in a certain amount of time. You know, they just, oh yeah, wait a minute, you know, I'll just call up Samantha and let her come over here and twitch her nose for a minute, and then, oh poof, it's done. You know, or Jeannie, come on over here, Jeannie, you know, cross your arms, nod your head, make it work. So this is coming out of the board, which I believe is hooked up to this somehow, which is hooked up to that somehow. So again, here we go. Well, for now, I'm going to plug this all back in because I don't want to end up losing anything over here. So that's plugged back in. Let me go get the stereo port. I want to see what the stereo looks like in front or in back to see if there's anything other than rust that these units would plug into. And I don't see anything here. See, it's getting to the point to where it's, you're going to have to start putting things together to see what works with what. And you don't really want to start doing all that unless you know what's what. And I can't even tell you if any of this works because I haven't got the headset for the unit, nor do I have any way of operating it because the remote is totally rusted out. And is this, in fact, tied into that amp so that it goes through here? I mean, it's just, it's a nightmare. It really is. That's why I didn't mind doing it and taking this on as long as I had the time. Now they're taking the time away from me. Then they said, well, you can get it back, you can have it back for the winter. For what reason? To take it all apart again? Because that's what I got to do. Nothing like repeating your steps.